From basketball courts to football fields, professional athletes are making headlines by taking a stand against racial injustice in the United States. But don't get it twisted. Black women athletes have been about this protest life. Today's baggage: how women athletes change the world of professional sports. Protest in sports is louder now more than ever. From individual acts of protest, like those from Naomi Osaka and her critical statements during the 2020 US Open.
I feel like I'm a vessel at this point in order to spread awareness.
Or even whole teams, like the Washington Mystics, who wore t-shirts with bullets on the back to bring attention to the shooting of Jacob Blake. Pro athletes are demanding change. Athletes are responsible for some of history's most notable acts of protest. But how many of them do you know that were enacted by women? Go ahead. I'll wait. Harry Edwards is a professor emeritus of sociology at UC Berkeley and the author of The Revolt of the Black Athlete.
Black women have been central and critical to the struggle in this country, going all the way back to enslavement. It was 3 women who came up with the hashtag Black Lives Matter that morphed into a slogan, that morphed into a movement, and the same in sports. The problem that we have is that we in American society have never seen women as creditable and legitimate athletes.
Despite being pushed to the wayside, Black women continue their legacy of dissent. And Dr. Edwards says that over time, we've seen 5 waves of protest for both men and women in sports. The first wave began in the early 20th century and emphasized the fight for legitimacy. It included athletes like Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Jesse Owens, and Paul Robeson. The second wave came after World War II and focused on desegregation and civil rights. One of its biggest stars included Jackie Robinson, who in 1947 broke the color barrier in baseball and created a model for the civil rights movement through his nonviolent protest. This era began to include Black women like tennis legend Althea Gibson or little-known jumper Rose Robinson. She refused to stand for the national anthem during the 1959 Pan American Games. She was an important figure at the time, and Jet magazine even profiled her. And Wilma Rudolph. After winning big at the 1960 Olympics, she insisted that her homecoming parade be integrated, making it the first racially integrated event in Clarksville, Tennessee. The third wave can be categorized by a Black power ideology. Tommie Smith and John Carlos will forever be known for their raised fists at the 1968 Olympics. But what y'all might not have known is that at those same Olympic Games, Wyomia Tyus protested. The history-making track runner wore black shorts rather than her uniform shorts to support the Olympic Project for Human Rights. In a press interview following her win, Tyus dedicated her gold medal to Tommie Smith and John Carlos. The fourth wave of activism was propelled by the Black Lives Matter movement. We all remember that 2012 photo of LeBron James and the Miami Heat wearing hoodies to honor Trayvon Martin. And we're still talking about Colin Kaepernick. But months before Cap ever took a knee, Maya Moore and other women of the WNBA wore Black Lives Matter t-shirts, knelt, and were subsequently fined. These women were protesting the police killings of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. Which brings us to the fifth wave.
This 5th wave of athlete activism, where you have entire teams not expressing sentiments on Twitter or on Instagram, but sending a message by threatening a boycott or carrying out a work stoppage, which brings everybody involved to the table: owners, sponsors, TV networks. This 5th wave reflects the disposition and the place of African Americans in American society, but it also reflects the possibilities in terms of strategic movement ahead. They realized that the only reason that it was George Floyd or Breonna Taylor is because they were not there, because they're Black too.
Edwards says that a particular nuance of the 5th wave of activism is that athletes have transitioned from being seen as property to having a seat at the table. After the shooting of Jacob Blake, the Milwaukee Bucks flat out said, "We're not playing." The NBA went on to postpone 3 playoff games scheduled to take place that very same day. And this strike, it caught on to other professional leagues. But why am I not surprised that this whole athletes calling the shots thing isn't so true of women, especially those in the WNBA, a predominantly Black league. These Black women who dissent are not given the time or platform that they deserve.
You don't see women getting access to that kind of exposure in terms of their ideas and dispositions on these issues, even though they've been there all the time. And so because of misogyny, somebody like Maya Moore doesn't get the credit she deserves. LeBron James, if he had stopped his career for 2 years to go and get justice for 1,000 individuals, they'd still be talking about it.
Over a year ago, Maya Moore decided to leave the WNBA to focus on social justice issues. She ultimately helped to free Jonathan Irons, a Black man who was incarcerated for a crime he didn't commit. This year, her former teammate Renee Montgomery decided to sit out a season with the Atlanta Dream. The point guard was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
There was so much going on here in Atlanta, just as far as the protest was concerned. You know, Ahmaud Arbery was killed here and people had a problem with it, rightfully so. It was a murder. Just all of that combined with watching George Floyd get murdered on TV and watching Breonna Taylor still not have her cops arrested, all of that, I was just like, no, it's time.
Black women have shown up and showed out when it comes to protest in the WNBA. But do you think that members of the WNBA are getting the recognition that they deserve?
Different media groups, different media platforms that I've never seen even tweet the word WNBA or posting WNBA players and about what we're doing. And Black people and Black women, I should say, have just been at the forefront. Like as we all know, we've taken that first step a lot of times and we did it again this year. You know, a lot of people, they see the bullet holes on the back of the WNBA players' shirts and they think, oh, are they just trying to do publicity stunts? Are they wearing these shirts just for attention? Now, we've been here. You know, we've been here, we've been doing this, and I'm glad that people are starting to see it.
Where's the lie? In addition to the player-led protests from 2016 to today, the WNBA launched its Social Justice Council to address racial inequality at the top of their 2020 season. This was before the NBA announced a plan to launch a similar coalition in August. This season, the WNBA also announced the Say Her Name campaign to honor Black women who were killed by police violence.
The NBA, when they boycotted, it stopped the world, you know? Like the whole world was thinking, if sports are going to stop, it's got to be because of COVID, right? No, the sports league shut down because of racism. I'm an athlete and I'm a Black woman, so I want to be able to be both on the court, and I think that's the narrative that just needs to be understood.
History has shown us that athletes will not just shut up and play. But as we remember the great acts of defiance by Muhammad Ali or Cap, may we also remember politically outspoken women athletes, Wyoming Attias and Renee Montgomery, among others. As Black women athletes who protest may never be given their due, let us hope that they continue to stand up and speak out, just like Black women have done for centuries. From basketball courts to football